I'm Bob Horney, and this is my wife Carol, and our son is Adam. And Adam is 26 years old now, and when he was born, he developed cerebral palsy. And after 5 years, progress wasn't being made therapy-wise as much as we wanted to, so we decided to do some unique things that might help Adam and potentially some other families and kids.
Adams Camp is now comprised of 7 programs, which are further divided into 2 distinct groupings. One are the therapy camps, which is the heart and soul and kind of core of what Adams Camp was built on. The next group of programs are our adventure camps. These are more what you would consider typical camp programs.
Adams Camp allows her to be a kid first and a kid with disabilities second. But she's a kid and she gets to go to camp. You know, that's what all kids do. That's cool.
What I really loved was there was a one-on-one therapist for every child, and it really was intensive therapy. And to me, I think that's the big value. And I loved, of course, that they got to do activities, they got to really feel like they were camping. They were exposed to things they wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise.
Normally you're dealing with therapies and you take them to a vision therapist, and then you go to the OT, and then you go to the language person, and they're all kind of splintered. Well, Adams Camp, brings that all together.
This whole interdisciplinary approach that Adams Camp does is amazing to me on so many levels. Having all the therapists there at the same time, exchanging ideas and working on these challenges together, because obviously as human beings we are whole people and everything is interrelated.
Well, and we had some of the pieces, but having them all together, they put the pieces together. And, in 15 minutes, she was leading the group in Simon Says. A kid that's never talked before suddenly was telling the kids what to do. With Emma's physical disabilities, it is, you're just like, she's going to go horseback riding. She can't even sit up, but she's going to go horseback riding. And she, on a rock wall and canoeing. And, I've never been on a rock wall.
You were understandably skeptical.
Yeah,
But,
and then,
it worked.
She gets that she's in a place where she's surrounded by people that don't look at her and see what she can't do. They look at her and say, hey, why not? Let's do this.
You get different staff, but you learn something new, something that we could take home and apply it in our home daily life. Early start, he learned go. And he was playing the drums, and when they stopped, he yelled, go, and we lost it. It was a party. Our first word, it's big.
They said, you should really go to Adams Camp because you'll see amazing progress. And so I was kind of skeptical, like how much can really be done in a week's time? But he was amazing and started walking about a little less than 2 months later after Adams Camp. And it's just so amazing to see how they can integrate all these things in just our in everyday activities that can help Will out.
We found early on that having a child with special needs is not just about providing the services that the child needs. It is a family situation. So when we go into an Adams Camp session, we never go in with a list of things we're going to talk about with the family support person.
Our whole family loves Adams Camp. The kids, it's funny, Natalie and Maya say, we're so lucky that we have Emma because we get to go to Adams Camp.
The support for the parents and for the siblings was spectacular. You learn that you're not the only person, not the only family dealing with this.
My friends will just look and I'll be like, "There's my brother," and at first they thought I was kidding. They're like, "What? That's not your brother." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And Adams Camp has been very helpful with me actually being able to explain it to my friends who don't understand it.
I think the biggest thing for us is, even though there's kids with all different abilities in our group that we have, it's so amazing that we don't even have to, we can be with the parents and not even talk about doctors or therapy or whatever, but you just all have that common ground. I can't even fully explain exactly, you know, how amazing it is to other people to just be at the park or be at a dinner with everybody and no one's looking at you crazy, or, you know, everyone's just on the same playing ground, and it's just a really good feeling.
You know, obviously there is an expense involved in going to Adams Camp. There is financial assistance available for some people, but when we compare the cost of what it is for us to go to Adams Camp for a week against what we have spent on the one vacation we've taken since we've had kids, it's more of a vacation than we've ever been on, because other parents get it. We don't have to worry about what Ian's doing. We know he's taken care of. There's programs for Isabella to be involved in. We actually get time alone together if we choose, which we, going away on other trips, even to go see family, we don't really get that because we have Ian to deal with. So when we look at the financial difference between those two things, not only is Adams Camp less expensive for us, but it's actually more of a vacation. And by the way, Ian gets great therapy while we're there.
What I loved about going to Adams Camp this summer was it was our first time on a vacation as a family. I had not been able to take all three of my children anywhere before together. Finances were part of that, but also I was afraid to take my kids. I have two autistic kids. I was afraid to take them, let's say, to Glenwood Springs or somewhere, and then you're constantly explaining, or you're afraid to go places because people don't understand. And what I loved about Adams Camp, no matter what we did, where we went, I didn't have to worry about it. It was great. Everybody understood, everybody got it, and we got to go on vacation for the first time as a family, and that was huge to me. That was huge.
And they were getting their needs met as far as their diagnosis or disability. They weren't just at a daycare. They were with therapists who were trained to help them with the autism, and that was really cool, just to have that comfort and still have time for like me and mom to go do something, sleep in, hang out at the cabin, go to the parent meetings. So at the same time as it's relaxing and wonderful and great, it's also kind of intense for the kids and for them to get their needs met, and for us to get some strategies that we can take home and try and implement there with the kids.
There is this magical place where these things happen, and you watch. I love watching people given hope. You know, adults, the parents given hope when before I think they were told that they didn't have any. So that's what I always walk away with.
Okay, Mike, just keep going. I'm not quitting.
When you ask what's the greatest benefit across all these families, it was hope. So here's this great opportunity, and it gives these people this wonderful respite and this chance to be a family that's just normal.